let's see who, let me get this set up for live feed. I told Ryan, Banner247, and Steve I was gonna do this. Hopefully they can log in because I do owe a couple people an apology about last night. I'm not apologizing about the feed. I do have to admit the video came down and I'm happy about it because the fact is that I think I got sidetracked and I got myself turned around, and what I was intending to say was not what came out. So we'll keep this to a minimum of, I'm actually this is my Father's Day. I took the day off. So let's see, I got live feed here. Who else here? Let's start this. Let's see who's here. I gotta get a couple things here, guys. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a couple things at once. Celery seed. I need a little bit of, there we go. What am I doing here? So there's like 9 people here. I told Steve, Spitfire, what's up? Oh, I gotta get that knife to you. Daniel, well, I mean, I'm celebrating. That's not the rosemary I want. This stuff's old. Yeah, I gave myself the day off today. So, hey, so upon further, oh, that smells so good. I love fresh black pepper. So upon having talked to, you don't have to do that. So I'm actually, that was Super Steel Steve. So in the course of the live feed yesterday, I have to tell you guys, like, so there's a lot of people who are really hating on me for some of the things that I said. And I have a unique brand of humor. And I kind of want to, I'm not apologizing for it. I'm doing steaks. I'm making a rub right now. So I'm mortar and pestling my dry rub. I'm not going to apologize for my humor because I found it funny, but I have a sense of humor that is from growing up in the military. I joined the military, I was 17 years old, guys. And so there is so I think some of what I said got misconstrued. And I would like to apologize because having talked to Steve, the guy Kurt that is actually doing the testing is a very reputable guy. We talked offline. And so I would like to apologize to Kurt. The whole thing about saying I wasn't saying he is the night janitor. What I said was, for all I know, is that he could be. And that's all I was saying. It was meant to be humorous. And so Steve and I talked about, Ryan and I talked about it. I commented on Ryan's video. And Vinny can post up whatever he wants because, that's Vinny's prerogative. I like Vinny. Vinny and I still talk. I should have included him on this. But so the people I'd like to apologize to was Ryan at Banner247, Super Steel Steve, and Kurt. Because I think that people misconstrued my humor as me basically just saying that the guy is the janitor. So my brand of humor can easily be confused with just being, I don't know, it can be dickish, I guess. I guess my sense of humor can be dickish at times. But people that know me personally know that there's no ill intent. And I explained that to Steve. I explained it to Ryan. If I ever get to meet Kurt, he'll probably want to punch me in the mouth. I'm fine with that, but I would like to explain it to him too. There was no ill intent with that. Those statements were meant to be humorous. But some people latched onto them and thought that they were wrong. And I can see that. I can see that from an outside perspective, having, re-listened to the comments and things like that. So I can say, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Am I sorry that I made jokes? No. I'm just sorry that it got misconstrued. I'm sorry that my brand of humor can be off-putting, and I apologize for that. But the fact is, like I say on this channel all the time, when you watch my channel, you get me. That's all there is to it. There is no on YouTube Mike and off YouTube Mike. Mike is just Mike. I'm sorry, guys. That's just me. You get me, and that's it. And so if my humor offends people from time to time, I'm sorry. But I'm really not, because I found it funny. So people are saying, oh yeah, you were accusing this, you were comparing this guy to got that fucking fly. Yes, ma'am. They're like, oh, you're comparing this guy to a serial killer. And I was like, if the humor If the humor gets confused, I apologize. So I'm apologizing to Kurt, the guy doing the testing, Super Steel Steve, and Ryan, and I'll apologize to Vinny a little bit. Because as much as this is a nice thing about this community, we can agree to disagree. I like Vinny. As much as he may irritate me sometimes, I like Vinny. We have differing opinions, but a lot of times, differing opinions, a lot of times you come to a concise, clear, more, a better end product. We have two different points of view. I am not, like a lot of people seem to think that I have an ego the size of a zip code. The second I realized that Ryan, when he put up his post, I gotta grab something here. He put up his post about he was responding to my video. And I went back and I read it and I realized, fuck, I didn't get across what I wanted. No, let's not do this because that's this is what I'm trying to avoid. I don't want that to turn, I don't want it to turn into mob rule like it did yesterday. The point I was trying to get across was when I say that, okay, let me sure I can get this clear and concise. I say that it didn't matter to me, the HRC. What I'm saying is there's steals out there to get overlooked because people chase that hardness number. There are some people that just, they overlook things because they think they need a 63 or 64 when there's some steals that perform every bit as good at a lower Rockwell. Not necessarily the same steel. I'm not saying that you can have a steel that performs better at 50 than it does at 60. I'm saying, and this is where it got convoluted because there were so many people and I was trying to respond to everything and I think I got myself off kilter and I let it get out of hand. What I was saying is there's some steels that at 59 perform better than a different steel at 60. And I was telling Steve that, and I explained to him the humor. My brand of humor, like I said, it can be misconstrued. So to anyone that took offense to those jokes, I do apologize. I really do. And I don't want to get into the Rockwell hardness thing on here. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I get that my sense of humor can be off-putting to some people, but like I said, I like to try and keep this channel as true to, you can ask the guys that I hang out with, if anything, you guys get a filtered version of my sense of humor. Nico can attest to that. Elliot could attest to it. So, but you still get me. You still got my personality. I'm not going to change that for anybody. But I let myself get all wound up about something because what I was trying to get at was the 1 to 2 point difference. I am 100% behind Vinny and Blade. I'm not Blade Banner, but Banner Ryan at Banner 24/7 and Steve at Super Steel Steve. I'm 100% behind what they're doing. Is holding companies accountable. I talked to Dave Warren, the U.S. distributor for Tuya Knives. I talked to him, and I explained to him. He's like, "Yeah, no, I get it." He's like, "I get it." He's like, "I get you've got a unique brand of humor," and I do feel bad about it. But am I going to change? No, I'm not. But I feel as though I owed those three people an apology because it was. I think it was misconstrued. The humor was misconstrued. And M390, I do know I like M390 20CB. They're my personal favorite steels. I know that everybody has different things, but the thing that I was getting at was I was kind of upset because there's videos out there that are talking about a 1 point difference. Like if the published that's not what I'm getting at, but I mean, for it to be that 7 points off, that's a big deal. But if the published is like 60 and you're getting a 59, that's not that big a deal. If the published is 63 and you're getting a 52 or a 57, yeah, you're way outside of the scope. And so, I just actually, Ryan from Banner 24/7, 247, Banner 247, just sent me a thing. He liked the thing. I honestly, those are the people I apologize to. And Kurt, like I said, if you watch this, Kurt, I apologize if you didn't find the humor in the comments. Now, the guy I was talking about when I said yeah, that's great, he's a nice guy, I was not talking about Kurt or any of those guys. He's got me mistaken with somebody else. So it's been 100% that I think it kind of got blown out of proportion. So the question that Ryan asked me in the video was because I was saying that I didn't think that the Rockwell difference mattered that much, and or that I don't think that Rockwell matters. And so I'm going to explain those two answers. So Ryan asked me, six, you're saying Rockwell doesn't matter, that difference doesn't matter. So if you have two knives that are produced exactly the same in the exact steel by one company, and one is way off and one is not, and they're really different, you don't think that's a problem? Well, yes, of course, I think that's a problem, because that shows that there's an issue with the process, issue with the heat treat. There could be so many things wrong there. But I don't think I answered his question adequately. So I did go and I responded to his video. I didn't take offense to the fact that he called me out. If anything, that holds me accountable for something I said that maybe I didn't get my point across as clearly as I intended. And so I told him, I was like, look, I get it. I 100% get it. I would be the first one to Roger out if I misspoke, or if maybe I didn't get my point across and it was misconstrued. And if there's always gonna be people that hate you. I have no problem with that. I'm cool with haters. If they hate me, they're gonna hate me. I just won't put up with it on my channel. And so they can hate me in public venues. I didn't respond to any of the hate that I was getting in Ryan's post. I am, however, getting hate in Instagram, and I'm managing that on my own. But the thing is, things get blown out of proportion. When things are said in a humorous way, it's just got a point. You can't say anything to try and be funny, because it just offends everyone. And so, am I gonna stop doing that? Absolutely not. Now, if I feel I've overstepped, or if I've offended somebody, like, I like Steve. I talked to Ryan a little bit last night, and I get where he's coming from. We're really both passionate about things. And I think what happened was we were both really passionate about something, and he called me on it. And so the thing was, it wasn't that I didn't want to answer his question. I just don't think it got a valid answer until this morning, or well, I'm sorry, last night, when I saw his response that he put up. It was like a 9-minute video, and I couldn't argue it. You know, I can't argue that. Call me on it. That's fine. Not at all upset, not at all offended. And so if you guys, like, I know that there's people on here that are watching it that just hate me. Heat treat and grind between knives and scissors might be clear things up for some people. Maybe some other time. That's not what this is about. I'm just actually saying. So I'm not gonna, hang on a second, I gotta fucking get some stuff real quick. I gotta find the other thing of rosemary. Where's the other thing of rosemary? Well, I'll be back in frame in a second. I gotta put these in anyway. I'm making a dry rub. So, yeah. I never worry about, like, I worry about offending or hurting specific people's feelings. People that, like, I like Super Steel Steve's channel. I dig what he's doing. And the fact that I kind of upset him, I felt bad. I really did. But having explained to him that it's 100%, it was just my sense of humor. And God damn, it would make my life easier if it wasn't like that. But like I said, you can ask Matt, Nico, Elliot. That's just me. That's just the way things flow with me every once in a while. There's just, if I wasn't offensive and, like, fuck, 2 points off, bubble off a plum, I would, half a bubble off a plum, I wouldn't be me. So Ryan at Banner247 just texted, he says he can't, he's at work, so I will, hopefully he'll weigh in on this. And like I said, guys, like I said, it may seem like I have this huge ego. If I say something and it's wrong, and I get called on it, and I'm like, you know, I'm not apologizing to you, Peter. If I said Kurt, Steve, and Ryan. I didn't say Peter in there anywhere. If I get called on it and I find it, I'm like, you know what? I see that. I get it. Being wrong a lot of times is the best way to being right. True. You're right. It's right there. It's open. And having somebody, you know, call you on the carpet about it, like, hey, bro, what exactly did you mean about that? And that's the thing I like about what Ryan did. Ryan was like, I'm going to give Mike a chance. As he tagged me on Instagram with a picture of a response to it. At that time, I had like 22 views. And he was like, I'm going to give Mike a chance to respond to this. And the second I watched it, I was like, ah, fuck, that's absolutely not the direction I was trying to go. And it gets to where I get sidetracked with comments and I get off. I have this really dedicated thought in my head that I want to do. And then Peter comes in and says something. I'm like, oh shit, left turn. And that's what happens a lot of times. And so I apologize, guys. That video should have been its own edited video where I was getting a clear and concise thing. But I hope at this point I've kind of cleared that up. Does that make sense, guys? So I wanted to be short. Now we can kind of bullshit and stuff, because there's my apology to Kurt, to Ryan, to Steve over at Super Steel Steve. I think that the intent got misconstrued. I am so happy. I'm really, really happy that, guys, even Vinny, I hope Vinny comes in. I would love to see Vinny on this. The fact that they are calling out and making sure it's what really struck it for me was David, the distributor for Tuya Knives, David Warren. He went on the thing and he goes, yeah, here's the thing, we did this and this is how he's like, this is how we addressed it from the Tuya Knives perspective. And I was like, see, and there's David, and I like David. And we talked and stuff. David didn't take offense at anything I said. I never said anything about Tuya anyway. But the point I was getting at, it was some of the nitpicky videos where they're talking about 1 point off the publicized. If it says it's 60, it's 59 or 58 or even 57. When I say it doesn't matter, that part didn't matter. If you're 7 or 8, if you're way off the mark, then yeah, it should be called out. And they're not doing anything different than what I do when I call out like the Benchmade stuff. Like you're getting ripped because you're getting lower quality at the same price that you were. You see what I'm saying? They're looking out for the consumer. For all of us, we're looking out. They're just going about it on a different route. So, I mean, guys, you got to remember, I'm an extremely passionate person. Extremely passionate. I'm passionate about my hobbies. I'm passionate about my family. I'm passionate about my friends. You don't fuck with my friends. Don't fuck with my family, and don't fuck with what I hold dear, because I'm passionate about it. And that's a good way to wind up on the bad side of a life choice. But I also know that I'm headstrong. I can be opinionated. I can be an ass. But if you bring the hardest way to get things to me is like the haters are doing. They might be trying to bring a valid point, but if you throw something in my face in a fashion that is just fucking offensive to the way my brain, I don't care how good your point is. I'm not going to listen to it because it puts me off. And I know that I'm doing that to other people. Trust me, I do know that. I get it. It's happened for my whole life. I'm passionate about things. The way Ryan responded to my video did not set off any of my bills of just somebody hating on me because of something I said. He gave me an opportunity. Steve contacted me directly via DM, and we hashed that out. And I think that they have a better perspective on what I was saying now. It's 100% not an ego thing. It's a passion. I have a passion for knives. I have a passion for what I'm doing. I love this as much as I love the military. And I'm sorry if I get passionate and I get bad and I get wound out of shape about things. Especially, this was the big one. So you guys know, this is what I was saying. Don't fuck with my friends. Don't fuck with my family. I'm passionate about things. So is Luke. Oh, what'd you do, Mark? Mark, you don't have to retract anything. What message did you? Cancel. What message did you retract? I have seen Elliot get so many emails and text messages about some of these videos that are put out about 1 point of difference from published or 2 points of difference published. And it just, I hate to see somebody that I care about, somebody I met that was he's my mentor. I mean, really, he's a good bit younger than me, but at this point, he's my mentor. He taught me how to make knives. He's taught me all this stuff. If somebody was calling out Chris about anodizing, you would get the same passionate response. Chris has taught me so many things about finishing knives and things like that. that when I feel as though someone that I care about is being attacked, I have a tendency to respond in kind. It's not the best idea, but it happens. So, does Elliot need me to come to his defense? No. If anything, I probably should leave it be. But I take it so personal when one of my friends is under attack. When it's not necessarily about, like if Elliot had fucked up, I was like, yeah, Elliot, you fucked that one up. That's a completely different animal. So, like I said, this is 100% just an apology to those three people. Kurt is, like, having talked to Steve, finding out where Kurt has worked and who he's worked for, that's some serious qualifications. I'm not going to get into it because it was sent privately. But, like, I can no longer make that. He's not the night janitor, guys. He's not. And that was, like I said, once again, 100% meant to be humorous. And it was misconstrued. Where's my dill? There's my dill weed. You, Peter. Dill weed. So, if anybody ever had any thoughts that it's my ego that drives things like this, it's not. I will be the first to admit when I'm wrong. Nico knows this. Matt knows this. I've said things that were out of plane. Horny goat weed, I'm not putting that in the steak, bro. Hang on, I gotta find this other thing of. There we go. There's the fresh rosemary. This rosemary is like fucking 4 years old. And I always grind up my rosemary because I don't like. Yeah, and I mean, if you're well out of spec, yeah, definitely it should be called out. I love the smell of fresh rosemary. I didn't think about this. Yeah, where is Raccoon Sex Dungeon? I haven't seen him in a while. Thanks for bringing that up, Jack. I love the smell and taste of fresh rosemary. Oh, actually, that's what I was saying. Absolutely. The fact that they're doing things to help protect the market is to help protect the consumers. I can get 100%. I 100% can get behind. I wish. I think Ryan said he made that video about the response to my video private. And I told him he was gonna take it down. I was like, man. He said he took it down. I was like, man, I wish you hadn't done that. I'm 100% fine with being called out and given a chance to respond. Just straight up hating somebody in the comments. That's not a good way to resolve differences of opinion. That's just hate. And hate breeds hate, and then hate breeds me blocking you and things like that. I know, but the thing is, like I said, the fact is that there are other channels that then come out and take that data and put it in an erroneous context. That was my point. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, one point's not going to make very much difference at all. Most people wouldn't. No one's going to know. I wouldn't know. So, there are some guys like Sean. I talked to Sean Houston this morning. He was talking about my chip video, and he said that I needed to take it down because he said he couldn't follow it. I was like, well, maybe I didn't explain it well, but I'm not going to take it down. But the fact is, I just know it works. Yeah, it's a different style of humor, and not everybody gets it, and it can be offensive. Hayden Kirkwood. Hayden, were you in the comment section on Banter 247's thing? I can't remember. There was a couple people on there. Now I got to make the second batch of this. It's always better to have more than not enough. I think there's enough salt in it, but I'm gonna throw a little bit more. What's up? I thought I saw you in there, but I mean, there's some people there's just people that just instead of just acknowledging that people have different opinions. Oh, here here was the other one. And I was trying to explain to somebody, and they were like, this excuse that you grew up in the country. I responded directly to somebody's comment, and I was like, I hope you really don't think that. Like, that I'm that type of person. Like, they forget what they posted. And I was like, I responded directly, but I hope you really don't think that. I was like, when I say that Rockwell doesn't matter to me, where I'm coming from is, I honestly, from a perspective of having grown up on a farm, I never once looked at what kind of steel it was. Back then, it was all, basically everything was 440. And so Rockwell really didn't matter to me, and it still is not. In the purchase proposition of a knife, the Rockwell hardness and steel are really, really, I mean, the Rockwell hardness is way low on the purchase proposition, unless there's a specific steel. I'm like, well, that's way lower than I would expect out of that steel. But for me, that's one of the last things that I would ever consider. Like, I don't look. If I find a steel, if I find a knife design, I purchase it based on, do I think that's a functional knife design? Do I think I can use it? And even if it doesn't hold an edge, maybe say as well as a $500 knife in M390 because it's in an 8CR, like a Chinese 8CR variant. Which I'm not gonna lie, there's some of those 8CR, like 8CR 13 MOV. I've had a couple knives come in that sharpened up really well and had a really nice crisp edge. And I'm like, even if that got dull, that's still a really nice, viable knife design with an okay steel. Is it gonna be something I'm gonna keep around forever? No, but I mean, basically at that point, you're paying like 45 bucks for that knife. You have to kind of offset that in my head. But we all cater to different specifics. Like I said, Triple B, like Big Brown Bear, he makes knives for those folks, those guys that are chasing that fucking HRC. And I, that's good. That's good because that leaves openings in the market. That gives him that niche in the market. But the thing with, I will say, the thing with Brown Bear, with Big Brown Bear stuff is he can back up that HRC with other stuff. Besides, it's not just hard. He's doing some stuff that, like, I've seen his videos. He's showing it doesn't chip. He's showing and things like that. And he called me out on something, but I mean, we agreed to disagree. I think we're going to agree to disagree on that one about the chip video. But, that's what this is about. And that's why I like the comment section, to stay clean and things like that. Because the better the comment section, the more it reinforces this community. Who is this? Mathable. I don't even know who that is. Oh, okay, I see it now. I'm sorry, I see it. Just joking. I was like, is that maybe Kurt? I don't know. But so I'm just gonna, what we got here? Who's that? We fight to the death. Peter, you're fucked. Peter, I'd tear your arms off and to take you to the hospital, sew them on so I could do it again. No, I'm I'm making a dry rub for some steaks. I like I think you get more of a better flavor profile when you cut it all together and then mix it in. But like I said, some of the hate and things that happen are because I get it, but it doesn't lead anywhere. Yeah, I just don't like pine needles on my steak. So what I do is I put it in the mortar and pestle. And I just turn it into a powder so you get the flavor, but you're not having to fucking pick pine needles out of your teeth. I knew where you're coming from. Can I come over to your house for steaks? Yeah, sure. How do you want your steak done? Well done. Get out. There's the door. You're the kind of person to put walnuts in a oatmeal raisin cookie. So, don't get me wrong. If you guys like walnuts, it's fine. I cannot stand walnuts. They're tree feces. I don't like anything walnut flavored. I never have. So I was kind of hoping that Steve would get in on us. It is a little bit early. I forgot. I took it. Here's the thing. I worked all weekend. I gave myself the day off today. My wife and kid and I have been hanging out all day. They actually went shopping, and I'm doing the prep for. We're doing Father's Day today, and so I basically spent my day off interacting with customers and talked to. Yeah. Vinny, like I said, I know you've been, like, somebody's like, Vinny's making memes about you. I was like, well, that's fine. That's Vinny's prerogative. We can agree to disagree. But like I said, a lot of the humor got misconstrued, things like that. If you've been watching, I mean, you kind of get where I'm coming from. So I kind of owe you an apology, too. I do appreciate what you guys are doing as far as that. The thing that wound me up was people that were taking that data, basically taking that data set that you guys had someone work really hard for, and taking it and misconstruing it and turning it into an aberration and saying, basically using that and complaining about 1 point or 2 points off of the published Rockwell. And I got real upset because there were people, like I said, you know, I'm friends with Elliot. I love Elliot like a brother. And when things get in question, it makes his life difficult. I get upset. And then so Luke and I were talking about it too. And then I got all wound up. And I basically, Elliot does not need me to fight his battles for him, but sometimes, you know, I can't stop myself. If things are making my friends' lives difficult, I'm gonna call it out. But I think in the process, my brand of humor just got misconstrued. And Vinny, you know me, you know my sense of humor. So, like I said, I responded to Ryan on his video. I responded to Steve via DM. Now that I know more about Kurt, guys, like I don't think we should really question too much about what Kurt's saying. You know, is it one data point from one guy? Yes, that would be the only thing I would say. Maybe a broader data point, but like I said, they haven't been doing that. No, I know Vinny hasn't. Wow, Vinny. Nah, Vinny is funny. Like I saw the thing that he posted about Steve and one of my other subscribers. And like I said, guys, I like to keep it an abusive, not abusive in the comments section, because one, it keeps it better for all of us, and then it keeps. Where is Kurt? Kurt is where? Kurt is here. Is Kurt here? That's what I'm saying. I don't. That is Kurt. Is that you? Okay, Jay, cool. I'm publicly apologizing to you if. Okay, Kurt. If I offended you with my statement that I didn't know anything about qualifications and things like that, I apologize. It was 100% my military brand of humor. Yeah, I know. I texted Steve and Ryan. I told them I was doing this, but I have a moment because the wife and kid just walked out the door. My daughter needs a pair of shoes. My wife's taking her down there to coach, said she'd buy them because my daughter's done so well. Her coach is actually buying her a gift. And so, like I said, Kurt, if I apologize, the whole thing is, like I was saying, it was one data point from a guy that I didn't know. And the correlation I was making, so let me publicly explain what I was saying. I didn't say that Kurt was the night janitor. I was like, for all I know, he could be. So, well, no, I just said, like I said, I just wanted to apologize, because now I know you're on here, I wanted to apologize. So, and then I not so much that I was even trying to discredit, it's the fact I didn't know, and hadn't been able to find out anything, and other people were quoting something that I didn't know from a source. Now I do know. And I talked to Dave Warren he's the distributor for Tuya Knives, and we talked about that. I talked to Dave for, and the whole thing does come from the fact I was in the military, and I worked for the Department of Defense in the security sector, where I did I actually did background. I was an instructor to do background checks. I taught people how to do background checks and criminal background checks and things like that. And I worked in counterterrorism, counter surveillance. So you trust but verify, right? And so you go through this stuff, and I'm like, okay, that's great. I don't know, you know? And a lot of times, like I said, my military brand of humor gets misconstrued, and I do understand that. But that's just me, guys. That you get what you get. So, but Vinny, I got no problem. If you're putting up memes about me, you know, I don't care. As long as they're funny. As long as they're funny. If they're funny, I'm good with it. Because like I said, as much as people might think different, I don't have this huge ego. I know what I know, and I will defend what I know until someone can prove to me that what I know might be off base. Because I'll tell you, every once in a while, like I said, I'll be a half a bubble off plumb. I might be there. Yeah, I know. So that now I get it. So I just wish that it hadn't got derailed like it did. That video is probably going to get redone, but it's not going to be a live feed, because that, I think, it was the problem, because I let myself get sidetracked and off the point I was truly trying to make. So I think that's just going to be an edited video. That might be something I do. I've got a lot of stuff that showed up to this week. It might be something. No, I don't have a problem with being called if I'm wrong. And I mean, and the big one is, like, I love the way that Ryan at Banter 247. Jesus, sorry guys. I ate breakfast this morning, which I shouldn't be. As long as I'm given a chance to respond and make sure that we're both on the same page of what I really was trying to say. Because I also have this thing where my brain gets ahead of what I want to say. And so there's things that get left out, because I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and sometimes it's hard to follow because my brain gets to racing and I want to say something and I can't get it to just all come out. And it gets misconstrued. And especially when there was like 50 people on that feed last night. So yeah, and I, like I said, 100% love the fact that Ryan gave me the opportunity. Instead of just going on and just throwing out hate, which I did get a lot of. There was someone that made an Instagram account to just bash this knife that I made. Looks like a high school project. Maybe if you fucking had to make a knife, the handles look like turds, you could sell the thing. So I wouldn't pay $15 for that knife. So, I mean, I had to block it. I had to. And it 100%, every time I do something that is maybe a little controversial and against the popular opinion, I get that. And I mean, I get it. It's always going to happen. That's just the bane of social media. But I don't have to let it stay up. So, yeah, I mean, really, I am so glad that someone is calling out knife companies. And it's, like I said, Vinny, it's no different than me bitching about inconsistent edges and fucked up edges on Spydercos and Benchmades, because I'm looking out for the consumer, letting them know, like, look, these are good knives. Spyderco knives, these are good knives, this and this, but this is the problem with them. And this is what you're going to run into. And this is my problem with it. Just to keep that out there and keep it informed. So it is a very good thing. So, but yeah, I think I'm going to address that video differently in a different. And that's the thing. I was talking to a guy, Cerberus Knives, up in Orange County. He and I talked for 3 hours today. And I was telling him, I was like, look, the knife world seems so huge. But like I said, I know Dave Warren and all this other stuff. You don't have to take it down. Just send it to me. Send it to me. Let me see, and I'll let you know. If I feel you need to take it down, which I probably won't, because I have as much as I can. You've heard my sense of humor. I can take that back all day, every day. I don't get offended. What I get upset with is, you guys see me really get wound up about comments. Somebody mentioned my daughter, or somebody said something about my wife, or somebody said something about, like, you know, how I run my business. You know, if I choose to drink a beer at lunchtime, what business is it of theirs? So, exactly, right? Okay. Can somebody tell me where I can find that test? I imagine if you were to go into this, and Jay Cool can probably point you in the right direction. So I think I need just a little bit more on this side, so I'm gonna have to mix up just a. Had a thing. There's a thing that goes with this. Whoa, who are we timing out for what? Okay, Nico, why are we timing this guy out? Just out of curiosity, because I didn't see. Let me know, Nico. Let me know why you timed him out. I have moderators because sometimes I catch things here. Well, I wish I had gotten to see what comment was put up, what exactly was said, because he's gonna, like, if you time him out, like, if you're still there, like, come back, because I didn't get to read the comment. I don't know if is it still up? Let me see, where's it at? Victoria Radcliffe. Does it come down when you put somebody in? I can't see it. I can't. I think no. If you, here's the thing. That's the weird one. If you do it as a mod, I don't see it. I'm a big fan of discussions, even if they get heated. At the end of it, when you're done, it's still fun. You know, and I thought it was fun last night. At the end of that, I mean, Vinny, last night at the end of the feed, weren't we all? We were all pretty much having a good time. About this point in the feed, towards the end, like the last 20 minutes, it was fun. We were having a good time. But it's a lot like that. Yep, exactly. Kurt finds issues. We let the makers know. We can't. Yeah, Tuya Knives. Well, okay. Well, in that case, find a different channel, my friend. Find a different channel. So, yeah, Tuya Knives. I like when I read what David said that Tuya Knives, how they handled it. I was like, all right, that's cool. So, but telling me to apologize and then shut the fuck up, well, it's not your channel. I choose how long these live feeds are. So, like I said, haters gonna hate, guys. Like I said, that guy that called me that day and he goes, look, joke them if they can't take a fuck. If they hate you. The other thing too, like, I'm sure Vinny gets it. If no one hates you, you're doing something wrong. And I look at, like, I get some hate, and sometimes it's called. Tell Yuka Princess, what's going on? I'm talking to someone on the phone. Actually, I'll call her from here. You guys get to listen to me talk to my wife. Hang on. Ooh, shouldn't say that out loud. You guys be calling the haters, be calling my wife.
Okay, I'll send this.
Nope. This phone doesn't always want to work. This phone's old. I mean, I don't know. I've never carried one, Drew. This is why I still have a landline, guys. Hey, what's up, babe? I'm sorry, I'm on a live feed with someone. I can, but you're gonna have to give me a little bit because I'm using my phone for the live feed for the camera. Okay, I'll do it. All right, bye. She forgot her list. You guys, give me a second. Give me just a second. I swear to God, it'll only be a second. I'm gonna feed her this info. I promise. Just give me moments. I told you I would return. So, yeah, I don't have I don't have a lot of spot in my heart for the haters. You know, guys calling me a bitch that I should apologize. I choose. If you don't like how long the live feed is, log out. I choose what gets done on this channel. Those are the things that irritate me. Instead of having a valuable opinion. So, oh God, not the bailout. So, I don't know. Guys, let me tell you, there are a couple knife companies that I really don't, there's a couple knife companies that I'm disappointed in, and there's a couple knife companies that are starting to redeem themselves. Let's go ahead and do this. So, I have not liked Benchmade knives for a while, and I'll tell you why. Benchmade has maintained their same price offerings and dropped their quality so much. And I just don't think it's fair. And I see the same issues happening with other knives. And I'll tell you one of the videos I get the most hate about, because Ernie has got a huge following. And it's warranted. Ernie is, I've talked to Ernie, he's a good guy. But I called out that I don't like Emerson knives. And the video is prefaced 100%, it's my opinion, but the knives were crap. And that's because there's a good chunk of time that those knives were just horrible. And they were charging a premium for them. And Ernie and I talked about it. I'm not going to get into details of what Ernie said, but I've told some people that do know. But I will tell you that I do feel as though I may wind up having to do an update video on that. Because the last few Emersons that have come in for sharpening are night and day from what I was seeing previously in the previous, I don't know, 2-3 years. That just a completely different animal. Fit and finish is better. The blade finish is better. They're offering knives with different grind options, and they're not done horribly. Edges still aren't the best, but I mean, so I have companies that used to be up here. Like when I was coming up in the military, Benchmade knives were amazing, but they were a small company. And now that they've become a big company, the knives are still quality knives. It's just that there's things that get missed and quality things that are allowed slip, and then we suffer as the consumer. And so they're dropping way down my scale. And at this point, I really can't recommend, as much as I like my 940, and their customer service people are great to deal with, you can only go so far with that. It's the actual quality and fit and finish of the knife and things that are done on it, that you can only go so far by having good customer service and good customer service people. And then there's other companies that I've called out that I really just don't like, that are starting to climb back up out of the murk of where I was like, these companies are just, they're you know, this and that. And, you know, it's these things that happen that like, yeah, like I said, there's a good chance I'm gonna have to do an update to that Emerson video because their knives are getting better. But then there's other companies that are charging more and the price is the quality is going down. So it's just, and like I said, these are the things that I'm passionate about, that like, so is Kurt and Vinny and Ryan and Steve, but we're just coming at it from two different perspectives. They're looking at it on like the heat treat and those issues. Mine 100% thing is what's my opinion on Spyderco these days? I have not gotten a Spyderco in that would persuade me to buy another Spyderco in a very long time. I still don't like, they need to figure out how they're going to address this, their plunge issue, the ricasso. It's horrible. At this point, they by now should have figured out a way where you're not going to wreck a stone when you're trying to sharpen down into that fucking corner, and you're not going to wind up having to round that out while you're sharpening and ruining a stone. And if that's because they soften their ricasso or find a different grind profile or put in a choil or a sharpening notch or whatever, then that's fine. But at this point, it's been too many years and too many people have complained about it. And now their edges are really, really inconsistent. They're starting to go the same direction as they're starting to go the same direction as Benchmade on my list of things. I truly loved Spyderco knives. You get them in, they got blade play, try to tighten it, and then the action's fucked. You know what I mean? Well, here's the thing. Huge difference now. They are, and I will admit, they are tough. They will hold up to a lot of abuse. But like I said, the fit and finish was so reminiscent of things that you can get for hundreds less. And it's just the price. I mean, when you can get, not trying to call out a company as being better than another, but when you can get a knife for less than 100, that the fit and finish on it is just immaculate, and then you get one of those and you're like, I can't tell the difference between this and an M-Tech that I bought at a gas station, and the screws ran crooked and things like that. It's just, you know, how do I give it a glowing review? I can't. And I took a lot of heat for that. A lot of haters, lots of haters on that. But, you know, that's the thing. Like, this is my channel. If you don't like it, don't listen. Don't watch. Don't tune in. Don't give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down. I don't care. You know, it's just something I don't understand. I don't go on other people's YouTube channels and hate. I actually watched the video the other day. The guy did a really, really good video. He was talking about something, but the thing was, the guy's delivery was real dry toast. And I told him, like, you could tell he's got this script and he's trying to read from it. And it was a very informative video, but it was the presentation was so off-putting that I was like, dude, that was a good video, but just please do me a favor. Next time, I was like, just do yourself a favor and familiarize yourself with your script a little bit better, so that when you do go in, it doesn't sound like you can read off of your script, but it shouldn't sound like you're reading off your script. ZT fans can be like, I mean, everybody, like, I'm a Ferrum Forge fan, but I'm one of those guys that also can say, like, that if anything gets said about any model of Ferrum Forge knife, they just lose their shit. They lose their mind. I can look at different knives, like, I truly don't like the Scepter. The Ferrum Forge Scepter. I told Elliot that. And he goes, well, that's great, Mike. He's like, but I sold all of them. I was like, I get it. It was a fairly popular model. It just wasn't one that I like. And I told him that. And so, you know, see how it works? I don't go on someone's channel and throw hate. I could have went to Ryan's channel and tried to throw hate. I can't believe you fucking called me out for this, but I didn't. I handled it like an adult, which is what I am. I'm a 45-year-old man, not an 18-year-old snowflake that doesn't know how to handle anything that is a differing opinion of theirs without going out and just, see, like that. I mean, fucking Cody doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's in the Air Force. That's like, here's how it works. If you were in the Boy Scouts, you're one step closer to being in the military than the Air Force guys. And so, you know, I could have went and tried to throw hate and things like that. But as a 45-year-old man, not an 18 or 19-year-old kid, child, boy, I see it makes more sense to go on there and go on there and give, you know, okay, here's what I was trying to get across. Does it make sense? Because maybe I don't think I made it clear enough. As opposed to getting all wound up and immediately going in there. And I mean, granted, the video last night was a knee-jerk reaction. So, this is fun. And here's the thing, like, just apologize, quit being a bitch. If I could just shut up. Just apologize, quit being a bitch. I enjoy this. I enjoy this interaction. I'm having fun with this. So, what's everybody else talking about? What are we going to talk about now? Yeah, me too. I wish I didn't have 3K tied up in 2 Ferrum Forge knives. Guys, I've got 8 Ferrum Forge knives. So much money tied up in Ferrum Forge knives. But the whole thing is, like, they're great. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. These need the oil. It doesn't produce, though. Luke enters the chat. Player 2 has entered the game. Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! fixed blade company I'd recommend. It's called what was that one? Crazy Sharp. That was the one. I don't know. Fixed blades. Fixed blades. I mean, a lot of companies make fixed blades now, and you guys know I like WE. Cold. Thank you, Matt. You beat me to it. Cold Steel. I've talked to Lynn Thompson He commented on a couple of my videos about Cold Steels. And I told him, I was like, you know, we got differing opinions, but I'm gonna tell you right now, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. The crazy shit with the videos and all that stuff. You're fucking stabbing car hoods. Like, you just, Tops knives have really fallen off. There's another one, Bark River. A good Cold Steel fixed blade, you can't go wrong. The only problem I have with them is any Cold Steel fixed blade I would buy at this point would get a aftermarket sheath. I don't like their Securex. It's a fiberglass reinforced nylon, and when anybody can tell you, if you cut fiberglass with a knife, it's gonna be dull. And when your knife comes out and you draw across that material, it dulls your knife. And I've had people tell me, it's like, dude, I cannot keep my Cold Steel sharp. SC's another good one. SC makes really good. Bark River, if you want an outdoors knife that you can just go to fucking town and beat the dog shit out of and never have a question as to whether it's gonna be reliable, Bark River is the one. Full convex fucking edge. They will cut forever from here to Christmas and then some. And the fact is, they use steels that are designed for that. 3V, 4V, things like that. What's up, Zach? I have not gotten a hold of, I did not forget. I took a day off. I don't like the extreme ratio stuff, extrema ratio. Bark Rivers are good. Cold Steel makes some really good fixed blades, depending on what you're looking for. What was the other one? I'm trying to. Bastolone. Okay, so Bastolone Knives makes some nice fucking fixed blades. Pricey, they can be pricey. You've probably seen him in some of my videos. Nice knives. They make nice folding knives, but I mean, like, if you're looking for a fixed blade knife that is more along those tactical, like kind of fucking tactical lines, some of the Bastolone knife stuff is cool. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, I'm taking today as Father's Day. Winkler, I haven't seen a Winkler in a long time. But there's good companies out there for fixed blades. And, you know, the thing is, you got to think, what am I going to do with this knife? What am I going to really do? You know, do I want this big heavy knife as a fixed blade, as a camp knife, or can I get away with a good fold? And I'm going to tell you right now, back to Cold Steel. There you go. Half-faced. You mean half-faced blades. Andy. I forgot to say, Andy makes really good fixed blades. Yeah. Thank you. Another veteran. Veterans helping veterans. Andy at Half-Faced Blades makes some really nice knives. And the ones that I had in the video that I did were nowhere near the level of fit and finish that the new ones are. He's really stepped up his game. Way better. And I was like, they're worth the money. I mean, right now, back then, even though they were rough and coarse and everything, I was like, they're worth it. They're worth the $400. You see the work that went into it, you know? So, yeah, two half-faced blades. But you know, you got to weigh the options. Like I was getting ready to say, back to Cold Steel. Cold Steel with the Triad Lock has got some folding knives that are robust enough that I would say you could pretty much, for the average camper, the average outdoorsman, could replace a fixed blade with, say, a Cold Steel Spartan. It's my camp knife, because with that Triad Lock, I mean, I am 100% comfortable with that knife, not at all thinking it would fold. There you go. There's another one. Ashton has a really nice Voyager, an old school Voyager. With the Triad Lock, there is no failing. They won't fail. The thing is, like, okay, so you keep the strength, but you've given up some of the weight you might need for a camp style scenario. So, you know, do we want to keep this going? Do you want to keep the video going a little bit? I don't have anything else going on. The wife and kid will be back in a little bit. They had to get a little bit of stuff. They went ice skating this morning and let me sleep in. Ryan just apologized. He called me Nehemiah in the I'll keep it going for until I get ready to go outside. I have to take the dog out here in a few minutes. Well, she's unconscious. Let me I've never dealt with many European brands. And I mean, the other thing about Cold Steel, and I think you guys have heard me say it, of all the things that Cold Steel might do, some of the Mall Ninja stuff, which the Mall Ninja-esque stuff, like, yeah, I get it. But the thing is, another thing that Cold Steel, without fail, gets right, in my opinion, and I don't know, maybe someday we'll figure out with Jay Cool there, hey, you take it easy. Maybe we can get with you and we figure out, well, what hardness some of these Cold Steel knives are, because I've yet to get a Cold Steel knife where the heat treat just did not feel like it was on point. It just always feels like they get their heat treat fucking right the first time, every time. Their XHP is one of the best I've ever sharpened. You know, their stuff is just, of all the things that Cold Steel does and does well, heat treat, and you cannot argue that they have the strongest locks on the market, hands down. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that, you know? So, I gotcha. What was that? Bark Rivers Elmax, yes. I actually had I sharpened a knife for a guy that was a Bark River in Elmax, and it was good. Yeah, I would say they're solid. I've never had a knife from Cold Steel come in, and like I said, I don't like XHP. I don't like XHP. Cold Steel's XHP, I would fucking buy it. Another person that did a good job on their XHP every time I've ever done it, Curtis Knives. I don't like XHP. It's not a steel I really like. But however, those knives, I'm like, wow, those things are fucking on point when it came to the heat treat. And like I said, a lot of times some of this stuff it comes down to heat treat. Some of it is heat treat. A lot of it, there's a lot of other stuff. What is that? John, I have, not saying that there's not Lion Steels out there, they're nice. I just have never gotten a Lion Steel in hand that was something that I really, was really something I would want. You know what I mean? I've never had a Lion Steel in hand that I liked, and I don't like that rotating lock on their that secondary lock that they have on their over travel stop for fixed blades. I can't remember what they call it. I don't really like it. I think it's kind of unnecessary, and it can get in the way. And if you bump it, and then you're like, "What the fuck's wrong? What did I do wrong? I can't get it to unlock." I just don't. I'm not gonna say that they weren't well built knives. I've sharpened a couple of them. They had a couple of them come in. I was like, that's not a bad knife. Construction wise, but as far as the knife being something I would want, no, it's not. So, all right. What the Microtech, like your red one? The DOC. That's an Elmax. I love that knife. I will say. Oh, you guys want to talk about something? So, you guys know I've said it before. The Elmax thing. With the people were throwing this big thing about Elmax not being done correctly, and that it was, that people had fucked up Elmax. Elmax wasn't a viable still. That was the Jay Davis thing. That came out, and that's, he kind of just ruined Elmax for a good period of time. Nobody really felt comfortable using it, and so, and I I thought, you know, it can't really, I didn't put much stock in it. And then I got my DOC. And for a little while, I was real disappointed in that Microtech. But after sharpening it a few times, I think it's just, Elmax is one of those ones, it's real touchy when you grind it about getting heat. Yeah, they were burning the edges. And so Microtech didn't burn too much of it. I think what happened was they just, and it can happen. I'll tell you exactly how it happens. Grinder speeds up a little too high, the belt's a little too worn, get a little bit too much friction, you get some fucking heat right at the apex. And then after a couple, Microtech had a couple, Microtech 2, so it wasn't just them, there was a couple others. But like dry grinding, a little bit too much heat, the belt was a little bit too worn. And I get it, like I sharpen maybe, like I make a knife and I was telling Eddie, I was like, I don't see how companies get this so wrong. My grinder edges are like on. They're not that hard. I don't see how companies get it wrong. And Elliot's like, ooh, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I was like, up front with Elliot, because it's probably the right answer. He goes, yeah, you just did a knife. He's like, you're not doing hundreds of knives a day, thousands of knives a week. And I was like, this is true. He goes, there reaches a point where there's a plateau where, yeah, I'm getting better, but then you just kind of get complacent. And I was like, I can see that. I can see that. Medford makes solid knives. I just think they're too heavy. And he goes, so yeah, it happens. He's like, they're doing so many knives. He's like, you did a knife. He's like, now imagine doing 20 knives in a time period. He's like, because you can't take as much time. In a factory, he's like, you took about 15 minutes to make sure you had it the way you wanted. And I was like, that's true. Because I was real careful about setting the speed, and I had everything set up, and I was looking, and I made sure my angles, and I did my little thing where I do my little dance in front of the grinder to make sure I've got my rhythm down, because if you just only move your arms don't move in a straight line. If you move your hips, you move your whole body in a straight line. And so I do my little dance to get myself in prep, how I'm gonna do it, and then I address the grinder. You're doing hundreds of knives, you can't do that. And so I was like, okay, I get it. But the fact is, like, somebody's QAing that and letting them go out. That was my point. And so, you know, it happens. But then the thing is, like, it's really easy to burn an edge if you're not paying attention. You get the grinder up a little bit too high. You let your belt get a little too worn. It's not actually cutting. It's just rubbing. And you've burned it. So I think I sharpened that DOC like 2 or 3 times. And then after that, I haven't had to sharpen that knife in a very long time. And I mean, I fucking use, it's like a hatchet. I fucking chop on shit with it. I was chopping fucking chopsticks with it just for fun at the shop the other day. Just, boom, 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 just kicking chunks of chopstick. And so it was it was something that was fun, and I carry it. And so once I got past that little bit of a burned edge, everything was fine. So, all right, guys, I am going to end this. I have to wrap this up, put it in the refrigerator for a few minutes, and then when the wife and kid get back, I'm going to start cooking. So I wanted to get these through. You guys want to see the steaks? Let's see the steaks. So I put the powder on them. Put the powdered herbs and stuff on them, and I let them sit for a little bit, pushed it in, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of balsamic vinegar. I'm gonna wrap them with some saran wrap. I'm gonna put them on the bottom shelf in the refrigerator, pull them out. I'll pull them out like 20 minutes before we get ready to cook. That way I can get them back to room temperature again. It's just, I thought we were gonna eat a little bit sooner. So, all right, guys, take it easy. Like I said, try not to incur the wrath of the heaters. Oh, the haters. So, later, guys. Take it